Latin, the language of the Romans. After completing this video, students will be able to list examples of English words that have Latin roots, and students will be able to show how the Latin language influenced other languages around the world. Throughout the entire Roman Empire, which you can see in red, the people all spoke Latin. This helped to unify the empire because they had a common language in which they were able to interact. This helped much with trade. Latin became the language of the conquered areas. As Rome took on more areas and added to the Roman Empire, those conquered people started speaking the language as well. Even the laws of the Roman Empire were written in Latin, including the 12 tables. Latin was a very important language during medieval times. After the fall of the Roman Empire, Latin continued to be used by scholars and the Roman Catholic Church. Important documents like the Bible were written in Latin. Church scribes used Latin to record important documents. Educated European nobles learned Latin so that they communicate with their peers in other countries. Over time, though, the Latin language began to change. As people from the Roman Empire interacted with Germanic tribes from the west, their languages mixed with Latin to create new languages. These can be seen on the map today. Latin is no longer spoken, but many of the modern languages are derived or come from Latin. These became the modern languages people throughout Europe speak today, including Italian, Spanish, French. These are known as the Romance languages because they come from the Roman Empire and that mix of the Latin language with the different Germanic tribes. As you can see from this chart, there is a big influence of Latin in the 6 Romance languages throughout Spain, or Europe, including Spain or Spanish, Portuguese, French, Italian, and Romanian. We can see the Latin word and the modern day languages. We can see most of them are very similar. You can see that English has some that are similar, some that are not, based on the idea that English does not all of our words come from Latin, but have some other influences as well. You can see the influence of Latin in many of the words, though, that we use today. For example, our calendar comes from the one that's adopted by Roman ruler Julius Caesar. The names of several months come from Latin, such as August, honoring Caesar Augustus, or September, which comes from Latin word meaning the 7th month. The new Roman year started in March, so September was the 7th month. October means the 8th month. Can you guess the meanings of November and December? Many English words start with Latin prefixes. A prefix is a combination of letters at the beginning of a word that carries its own meaning. Attaching a prefix to a root creates a new word with a new meaning. In fact, the word prefix was formed this way. It comes from pre, in front of, and fix, to fasten or attach. The chart shows other examples. At this time, use this chart to help fill in the Latin prefixes in your foldable. You may need to pause the video. Latin roots are also very important in word creation. As you can see from the chart, other English words come from Latin root words. For instance, manual and manipulate are derived from the Latin words manus, meaning hand. At this time, use the Latin roots chart to help you complete the second part of your foldable for Latin roots. Even Latin proverbs are still used today. For example, look at the reverse side of the US penny. We can see the Latin proverb on it, which means out of many, one. Finally, we still use Roman numerals. The Romans used a system of letters to write numbers. The Roman numerals I, V, X, L, C, D, and M represent 1, 5, 10, 50, 100, 500, and 1,000 in Roman number system. You have seen Roman numerals used on clocks, sundials, and the first pages of books. You might even spot some Roman numerals on buildings and in some movie credits to how in the year. Watch the Super Bowl? The year of the Super Bowl is written in Roman numerals as well. The Romans combined the 7 letters shown in the table to express large numbers. Putting numbers after another adds the value of the additional letters. For example, VIII equals 5 plus 3, which is 8. Or using the Roman numerals, XX, which is a value of 10 plus 10 equals 20. Putting a letter before a value with a greater value subtracts its value. For example, IV equals 5 minus 1, which is 4. And IX equals 10 minus 1, which is 9. As you can see in the chart, its value and how their numbers are written. Use this chart to help you complete the rest of your foldable.
Welcome to Greek and Latin Roots in Everyday Life, an introduction lesson to Greek and Latin roots. A root is a base of the word that gives it meaning. Many English words were created using roots from the Greek and Latin languages. Greek is spoken in the country Greece, while Latin was used in ancient Rome. Tri is a Greek and Latin root meaning 3. You can find the root tri in the word tripod. Notice the 3 legs of the tripod? Hydor is the Greek root meaning water. You can discover the root hydor in the word hydrate. Many athletes drink water to hydrate their bodies. Telephone is made up of 2 Greek roots, tele and phone. Tele means at a distance, while phone means sound or voice. The 2 roots put together would mean a voice at a distance, just like talking on a telephone. Your voice is carried over a great distance to the person who you are conversing with. Quartus is a Latin root meaning fourth or 4. You can find the root quartus in the English word quarter. It takes 4 quarters to equal $1. Photosynthesis is the process of plants absorbing light in order to grow. Photosynthesis uses the Greek root photo, which means light. Annus is the Latin root meaning year. You can find the root annus in the English word annual, such as an annual or yearly calendar. Centum is Latin for 100. Notice how the word centimeter contains the root centum? There are 100 centimeters in a meter. The Greek root thermos translates to heat. Thermos can be found in the word thermometer. You use a thermometer to measure your temperature, which is your body heat. Bi is Latin for 2. You can find the root bi at the beginning of the word binoculars. Binoculars use 2 lenses to see objects that are far away. Lastly, we have the word dual. It comes from the Greek and Latin root duo, meaning 2 as well. A duel takes place against 2 opposing sides, like these pawns in a chess game. Notice how all these Greek and Latin roots were contained in words we encountered every day? Can you think of other words containing these roots?
Now that we've finished the Edpuzzle, and hopefully your foldable, please go back to the Edpuzzle if you have not completed all parts of your foldable. You may play some of the games to brush up on your root words. These can be found on the center web page.